Hey everyone, we are in the middle of Oklahoma City, basically kind of on the edge of Edmond, but this is an old town that used to be here called Witcher. It is now a ghost town, I guess you could say. It's been absorbed by the city of Oklahoma City, but there is an old cemetery that a viewer told me about, so we hiked through a bunch of woods and stuff like that to get to it. So this is the whole cemetery right here. I kind of thought this might be abandoned or something just because of the location of where it's at. I mean, I don't know if there's another way to get into this other than hiking, but somebody has been getting to it and mowing because obviously the grass is down lower. So maybe there's a road, I guess, looking on Google Maps that goes that way or something, but we came in where there's some hotels. But there are a few graves in here that are interesting. This one right here has a funeral home marker, but I'm not sure if it is a designation for this veteran right here. So there's a couple veterans in here. This is Gordon Frank Weiss, United States Army, April 19th, 1938 to January 21st, 2003. And as you can see, there are some newer flags in here. There's another veteran right here, Lawrence Richard Weiss. And that flag on the left is obviously newer. And he was a corporal in the Quartermaster Corps during World War I, May 8th, 1897 to August 24th, 1967. And then you have Ernest Warren Shade, July 30th, 1960 to June 6th, 2009. So there are some more recent burials in here. Still sort of an active cemetery. Inez Shade and Jerry Shade. Inez is October 29th, 1908 to March 21st, 1982. And Jerry is July 11th, 1905 to March 20th, 1976. Here's a newer one, Jack Lee Shade, May 27th, 1939 to December 17th, 2008. And there's one right here. It says triplet sons, Joe and Ethel and Jackie Wade. No. It says triplet sons of Joe and Ethel Martin. And this is the Martin Cemetery, like I said. Jackie Wade, Larry Dean, and Jerry Lee, May 19th, 1940. And this is the daughter of Joe and Ethel Martin, Betty Jo, September 28th, 1926 to February 23rd, 1933. And then over here, Ailey found this. Baby Isaacs died in 1890, which is pretty interesting because that marks it as one of the very first graves in this area for sure. But there's two markers here, so there's clearly got to be someone else here. But she found that, and you can see where they've planted these flowers in through here, which is common for cemeteries. So like I said, this has been mowed this year for sure. This would be out of control. That says mother. There's a few foot markers as you can see through here. I think this is a main row. Oh, there's several stones.
Yeah.
Okay. See if they say anything. Does it say anything?
It's hard to see, but this one says Baby Boy Martin.
Baby Boy Martin.
Stillborn 1889.
Stillborn 1889.
First in Cemetery.
Oh, and that one actually says First in Cemetery. Wow. Good find, Ailey. And that one says
Fanny Martin Hinton, born 1860, died in 1910.
okay, so 1860 to 1910, Fannie Mae Hinton. And this one says Colby Hinton
died between 1890 and 1899.
Died between 1890 and 1899.
So they don't really know.
They don't really know, I guess. There's one other right here.
This one says Baby Boy Hinton, stillborn between 1889 and 1899.
So there's a 10-year increment, 1889 to 1899, Baby Boy Hinton. So someone's done some research at one time or another in this cemetery. Now this has a brick on there, but
It's some kind of brick.
that's just from the brick maker right there in Oklahoma City. It says Cleveland Brick Company. So, but there are some more of those markers where someone's done the research. This is Baby Haggard.
Died between 1889
So
and
died somewhere
1905.
between 1889 and 1905. Dude Haggard.
Died between 1890 and 1910.
Somewhere between 1890 and 1910. So that's a big time frame right there. And we have
This is Bowman Haggard, died between 1889 and 1920.
that's an even bigger one right there.
There's a lot of
1889 to
Haggards.
1920.
There's a lot of Haggards in here.
And this is a Martin. Sherry Darlene, July 2nd, 1957 to October 14th, 2009. And then we'll get to that. It's facing another way. This one right here says Mary, wife of R.T. Martin, born July 24th, 1859 and died April 4th, 1909. Really just right after statehood. Yeah, it does say father here. And on the other side, there was a little marker that says mother.
There's that same kind of brick.
I think that's maybe a corner marker for this Martin family right there is what I'm guessing. And then this says
Mother and father.
mother and father. Mother is Maud A. Weiss, July 20th, 1877 to October 26th, 1916. Thy will be done. And the father is Charlie L. Weiss, May 27th, 1863 to March 17th, 1936. So
she was older, right? No, she was younger.
well, younger. She was born later and she died earlier, about almost 20 years before he passed away. And then this is, we have Lillian M., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. C.L. Weiss, which I think is right beside us, who I just read, May 15th, 1900 to March 1st, 1918. And there's a veteran right here. So several veterans in here. Edward Miles Hutchinson, Tech 5, United States Army, World War II, January 7th, 1922 to December 5th, 1997. And like I said, those are newer flags right here. And you can see that people are still visiting. There's Hutchinson right there.
There's another Weiss.
Another Weiss, John Wesley Weiss, January 16th, 1902 to March 10th, 1947.
Two more Weisses.
Charlie E. Weiss, another Weiss, January 19th, 1899 to October 2nd, 1965. And this couple right here was married on October 10th, 1920. The last name is Weiss, LCL, November 24th, 1899 to January 16th, 1976. And Lawrence R., May 8th, 1897 to August 24th, 1967. So like I said, it is not a big cemetery, but there's a lot of history. Now, there's another video that you guys saw where we were going through Witcher Cemetery. This is the same area, and actually Ailey and I were going through this together, and it was a much larger cemetery, and some of the early people for the town were in there. But clearly this is another one that's interesting and has history of the area. But this is Roberta May Hutchinson, February 5th, 1929 to May 12th, 1999. And Edward Miles, January 7th, 1922 to December 5th, 1997. And they were married on September 10th, 1947. And here we have Richard T. Martin, born July 29th, 1846 and died September 15th, 1931. But right in front here is Wade W. Martin, Oklahoma, private first class, Battery D, 343rd Field Artillery, World War I. And he was born May 2nd, 1888 and died February 14th, 1970. So it's amazing how many veterans are in here. Someone has left a broom right here underneath this good size oak tree. But this is Wade right here. And that's his actual marker with his wife, Rosa E. And she is October 21st, 1898 to June 3rd, 1977. And they were married on November 3rd, 1919. And there's an old bench right there on the other side of them. See another veteran right over here, but let's go and see this. This is a neat one. This is Got something on the back side too, which was the bat symbol. So it's pretty neat to see Batman there. And it says, "Goodbye, old friend. Jason J. O'Neill, June 22nd, 1974 to October 18th, 1993. Pretty interesting marker right here. On the back you can see son of Bob and Sherry, brother of Sean and Amy. I really love that marker right there. I'm a big fan of Batman. That kind of looks to be like the 1989 Batman that came out not too long, 4 years or so before his passing, but I'm a big fan of the Adam West Batman. That was always my favorite. Jimmy W. O'Neill, July 12th, 1937 to September 9th, 1974. So around the time of his birth for Jason O'Neill's right beside it. It says, "Watch and pray." And then here we have O'Neill, Irma M., September 2nd, 1920 to June 16th, 2009. And she was married on November 21st, 1945 to Delmar L. O'Neill. January 21st, 1918 was his birthday. And he passed away on August 21st, 1990. And he is a veteran. You can see here that he was a Tech 4 in the United States Army during World War II. So he has a veteran's marker there. This is pretty amazing how small this cemetery is and how many veterans are actually in here. And there's another bench over here. And I don't think that there's anybody else in here. There could be, just because we see some funeral home markers like right over there where there's two and there's only one marker designating somebody. But I think they've done a pretty good job. At some point, some historian went through with some records here to this cemetery and has marked these. These were marked quite a ways back. I have no idea how long ago, but judging by the looks, I mean 30, 40 years ago maybe they put those things in here. I don't know. And then there is this tree that was here, and there's sort of a stone right here, so I don't know if that's marking somebody else or not. It does sort of go in the row of these. But overall, I wasn't sure how this cemetery was going to be. I thought maybe it was going to be a bunch of markers in here that were all in the middle of overgrown grass. But someone really cares about this cemetery, so they must have family in here. And really pretty neat. You might hear traffic in the distance, but this is really just in the middle of woods as I do sort of a panoramic view of the cemetery and the woods surrounding it. This is up by Frontier City, which is an amusement park here in the area close to Edmond, not too far off of I-35, which runs north and south through Oklahoma. And that's just the front gate there. Pretty simple. Some kind of fence over that way, so maybe someone lives near on this land. You can see where they had flower plots of some sort of plants right up through there. So there is a road right beside the cemetery going off in the woods, but it's been trimmed. I'm not exactly sure how you get to that. Like I said, we came through the thick woods here, and I mean it is thick, so I can show you where we begin. And that'll be about it, because I'll have to put the camera down because it gets so thick. It is sort of mowed around through here, but we really have to move branches, walk through tall grass. I've got stickers on my legs. You know those birds that don't hurt, just stick to the hair of your legs. She shaves her legs so she doesn't have any, of course. But this gets thick. I'm sure poison ivy and all sorts of stuff, but you can see how thick it is, and this is what we came through. Of course, you can hear the locusts or the cicadas, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, I'll have to put the camera down here, or you'll just see a bunch of leaves and branches and the ground and all kinds of stuff. But this is how we came through here, so we're going back the exact same way. Okay, so that's going to do it for this little cemetery tour on the Martin Cemetery that's in Witcher, Oklahoma. And like I said, you've probably seen us go through another cemetery, and I'll have that in one of the links to the other video that we did much larger cemetery there, and it's much more noticeable. I think it was off of 122nd Street, if I remember correctly, but I don't know. I'm kind of having trouble remembering. But even still, it's in this area, what used to be the town of Witcher, which has kind of been absorbed by Oklahoma City. Anyways, I appreciate you all watching, and we'll see you guys next time.